This story is amazing, and it may seem unreal. It happened a few years ago, and it can be an important life lesson for many of us. For more than 50 years, Maria Zlatich from Serbia did not receive any news from her husband. The elderly woman lived modestly at $100 a month in a small house in a forest. It was difficult for this single elderly woman to cope with the housework, so the people living in the village nearby helped her as much as they could. One day, some unexpected and incredible news changed her modest and calm life. Let's go back to the beginning of the 50-year-long story, back to 1956. Maria, when she was very young, married a young man named Momcilo. The couple barely managed to earn their living and make both ends meet. Soon, they decided to look for happiness overseas and moved to Australia. The man worked as a carpenter and she was doing farming, managing a small household. Their life seemed like a fairy tale, but 18 months later, Maria found out that her mother was very ill. The young woman decided to return to Serbia. Saying goodbye to her husband on the pier, she did not expect that she would see him for the last time. Maria took care of her dying mother until the very end. There was a new, hard experience ahead for the woman. For some reason, which Maria did not tell, she could not return to Australia to Momcilo. Every week, the husband and wife wrote letters to each other as it was difficult for them to live separately. Every day, Maria hurried to the mailbox to get a new letter from her beloved, but several years later, there were fewer letters. One day, Maria found her mailbox empty and she realized that she would receive no news from her husband from Australia anymore. Long distance became too hard of an experience for the young couple. First, there were years of silence, then there were decades. Maria lived alone in a small house in the forest. Her close friends and neighbors helped her as she was already an aged person. Everyone who knew Maria said that she was an unusual person who was always ready to help people. One day, she found out some news about her husband. They said he got rich doing farm work. He got married again. Maria learned about it from the internet. Her internet-savvy friends helped her. Maria never got married to anyone after returning to Serbia, so she could not believe that her husband had forgotten about her, although all her friends said it was not true. In 2011, Maria received sad news. She found out that her husband had died. Mourning the love of her life, Maria did not even know what a surprise was waiting for her. As she learned later, her ex-husband left her $670,000 before his death. The poor elderly woman became rich overnight. But this is not the end of the story. The process of collecting the documents took 4 years. Then Maria impressed everyone with her plans for her inheritance. She gave all the money to people who helped her. She shared it between the families of her friends and neighbors who helped her all those years. Some of them helped her with food, others with housework or brought firewood, and some of them just visited her when she felt lonely. "I do not need all this money," Maria said. "I just need water, bread, and some firewood for the winter. In the world I'm going to, I will definitely not need any money." It is worth saying that people's kindness and their help to the poor and lonely elderly woman was generously rewarded. Maria's life is an amazing example of sacrifice that can hardly happen nowadays. The woman in our story is admirable. Anyway, this story teaches us that it is always necessary to help other people, those who need it, and then all your kindness will be thanked. Like if you also think so. Do not forget to share this story and subscribe to the channel where you will find a lot of interesting things.